not the front part, no. Where is it?
Drum solo's here, right?
Right.
At E.
Right, you don't play anything, but
No.
you walk through here.
Oh, good, yeah.
In four, yeah, you
Yeah,
play
okay.
in four. You're alone, you're the only
Okay.
giant player. You
Okay.
walk through that, okay?
Okay.
So here we go. Let's take it in the piano chorus.
All right.
Is that cool?
Sure.
My last say is this is my third chorus, okay?
If you're a third chorus.
Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2,
First
3.
Frank, let's talk about a few of the tunes. Why is it called This Way Out, and how does the title relate to what happens in the piece?
It's a kind of a song, you know, that it borders on a more modern kind of a groove. It's sort of tune, I suppose, like a guy like McCoy Tyner or Chick Corea or someone of that nature would write a song like that. This Way Out. Well, it's a tune that, well, a lot of times when you get certain musicians and you talk about them, you say, well, he plays out, this guy. He's an outside player, you know, and he's very good at that. It means that he could take the same chord that I play this way, and he could play it that way, and he'd have a lot more, he'd sound like McCoy Tyner. He's outside, he plays outside, but totally correct.
So that simply means he's more adventurous, he takes more chances, he goes outside the traditional chord structure?
Basic chord is still implied in your ears as a listener, and he has taught himself more, how can I say it, another way of expressing, like if I play an F7th, I'll run it this way, and he'll take the F7th and run it to the point it almost sounds dissonant, but it isn't. It academically is totally correct.
Perk, this approach to playing that Frank is describing, did that have something to do with your changing your approach to improvisation a few years ago?
Probably about less than 10 years ago, when I used to start to play with Frank in a little club called Dino's out in Pasadena. It was the total freeing of my soul musically, and how it came about is still a wonderful mystery to me. But I think Frank had a tremendous amount to do with it, because a piano player can play chords in such a way that it either acts as a straitjacket, or he can play them in such a way that it leaves it wide open for you. Most of my life I was pretty afraid of making a mistake. And in all those years I was with Woody and Stan, I was very conservative in my approach. I'm not ashamed of it, because my sound and everything was my trademark. But all of a sudden, somewhere, probably in that lousy little nightclub, well, it was a great place for jazz, all of a sudden I was free.
I think a lot of people might assume, listening to the change in your playing, aha, Perkins has been listening to Coltrane.
Oh, I listen to Coltrane, and much more now than I used to. And I listened to all these players, but it wasn't clicking with me. I was just saying, wow, that's great, but I can't do that. And as I said, then I'd go out and play with Frank at that club, and little by little, all of a sudden I was freed. And when it happened to me, it's the greatest.
That's exactly what I believe in too. Same thing. I don't believe in staying the same your whole entire life. You only have one life to give, and you know. And if I was to play the piano, like in some idiom that is the same thing I did when I was 16 years old, that's fine. There's nothing wrong in that at all. But it's still fine for a person to want to try something different. Playing is to be like, at everything you do has got to be the best. I think being part of something is great, and if I can't play it, in my particular case, maybe I can write it.
Frank, I think a lot of people are familiar with that lovely writing you did for the Cal Tjader album called Last Night When We Were Young, but to my knowledge, this is the first time you've written for Woodwinds. How did that come about?
First of all, I got the job basically to write for saxophones. That was the basic premise, was to do a sextet album for saxophones. Well, I know the guys, you know, so I know they all are very good woodwind players. And I also know to write approximately about 12 tunes, I said to myself, what in the world could I write? So I tell myself, how many ways can I split it up, man? How many ways can I make different sounds? Any writer has the advantage of writing for 3 saxophones with the knowledge that these fellows have got, that they can double on woodwinds is such, and read quite well and interpret. I personally knew this, so I just instinctively started writing that way and hoping that the producer of the album wouldn't be offended by what I did.
was the take?
All right. Seamless. Either that one or the first one.
Strazzeri, that was your best solo.
Okay. Lucky.
What's next?
Nice song.
Yeah, if the linkage is acceptable, I think it probably is okay.
Oh, that's right.
The first one was first take anyway. First take was the best one for me so far.
New South. Take
One, 2, 1, 2,
Let me put it this way, I made mistakes with the best, you know? So I know what it is to make a mistake. So anyone makes a mistake, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. I just have that basic feeling, I guess, initially from saying that I was a sideman for so many years and I made so many mistakes. You know, there's times when I played with different people and I made mistakes and they made such a big ado about making this mistake, you know, that when I got in a position of asking people to do this or that, I do not ever want to be like them, those people.
Go back to the beginning, it's all.
Don't worry about it, Bill. It's nothing. What the hell? It's okay. It's just a good piano chorus.
The cells just slow.
No, I've been feeling bad from the beginning. Let me make you feel bad for a second.
50,000 cells a day you lose out of your brain.
I just lost 1 million.
We're working overtime.
And the supply gets short when you reach September.
Okay.
There's no more withdrawals.
Ready?
If the rhythm section was already down, we were just punching the piano, no problem.
yeah.
Let's do it again, Jim.
Yeah. I'll try it.
One, 2, 1, 2, 3, go.
In One for Sal. Who's Sal?
That's Sal Nestico. He's a fella from Syracuse, New York, where I'm from the same area. But when I first met him, I was working with Charlie Ventura. I had taken Dave McKenna's place, and I'm working with Charlie in Vegas. And we're playing in the lounge in the afternoons. But we were still dressed in formal attire, you know? And this kid comes up to me with a white T-shirt and Levi's, and he introduces himself to me as Sal Nestico from Syracuse, New York. And of course, there's the response between the two of us because we're Italians, you know, whatever that is. But I became interested in him right away. And the story goes on further how he comes up on the bandstand. he met me, so he takes it on his own to walk up on the bandstand, on Charlie Ventura's bandstand. Here we're all in tuxedos, and this kid comes up with Levi's and a white t-shirt, and Charlie Ventura is fuming. Anyway, he starts playing the saxophone. Charlie Ventura completely forgot about the job and all, started listening. He said, boy, this kid's really great, isn't he? Anyway, they became fast friends. But anyway, I loved him dearly. I really did. He's a great person. But the one thing about Sal that I'll never forget, he gave me some of the greatest music as a musician I have ever heard from anyone.
Frank, did you do the arrangement of Look for the Silver Lining with anybody in mind?
To me, that particular tune goes right along with Chet Baker, because he used to sing it all the time. I like it, you know, and I believe it or not, I've never been sort of satisfied the way I've played that tune. As simple as it is, it's just seemingly a very simple song. There's nothing extraordinary about it. I try to change the makeup on the song a little when I wrote the particular arrangement we're speaking of. Speaking about the baritone saxophone, I wrote them up high. I wrote them up very high. I play baritone horn, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, for me to play baritone horn high like that, it would be very difficult for me to play like that all the time. Way up high, man, that's hard. You got to have super duper horn players. I mean, we're talking about baritone horn, well, that's like a trombone. Right off the top of the deck, I have to think of great trombone players that could handle something like that. Frank Rosalino, these kind of guys, you know, they could play way up high like that all the time. And certainly I had the same feeling about Jack Nimitz. I realized that this guy is not, that's why he's regarded as one of the best. He could do that. He could play up high, you know. Where's the bottom? The bottom is, the bass player is playing the bottom, and so am I, with my left hand on the piano. And a lot of times he's not even playing it. So I just leave it open, and believe it or not, you can hear the bottom. Look at Bill Evans, he played the piano. And a lot of times he's not playing no tonic. What I mean by tonic is the bottom. He's not playing any tonic, but you can hear the song all the time. And if you listen closely, Scott LaFaro, a lot of times he wasn't playing the bottom either. So how are we hearing the song? It's there, it's implied.
Bill, with the kind of writing that Frank's talking about, what kind of a challenge did that present to you and the other reed players?
It's totally different than the typical 4-sax or 5-sax writing. It's three voices, three important voices all the time, and the whole sound, as he said, You know, I flatter myself to be in the company of the other two saxophone players, but the experience that the three of us we've had playing together and apart, of course, means that we never had to communicate anything about how to play. And he never, I think in the whole session, he never maybe had to communicate to us how to play. And that is a feeling that it's hard to describe for a professional musician. We knew how to play. He didn't have to explain to us. But it's just a totally different thing than the normal saxophone section playing.
You knew that after how many rehearsals?
Well, we knew that when we did the first tune, Lavender Dreams, which was tacked on to that Woody Herman album. I mean, we knew that right away. We said, this is it.
You and Coop and Nimitz seem somehow to anticipate one another, to know almost by ESP what's going to happen in terms of sound and dynamics. Did that come about just as a function of many years together?
We think alike, and we've had the years of playing in big bands, great big bands, and so Jack and I and Coop too, we just track like bird dogs, and that's one of the great feelings, because you play in a lot of bands, but you don't have that feeling with most players, and yet they're all great players and you do your job. But with the three of us, it's like three little kids getting in trouble, like the Three Stooges, you know. That's just a great, great feeling, I tell you.
I am thrilled that I had these people, and Bill explained it to you a little while earlier, how they played phrases together without speaking to each other. But basically speaking, I'm extremely happy that I was given this opportunity to write this. I like to write.
Do you think you guys will ever work together again?
If I have anything to say, we will, yeah. If I have anything to say about it, yeah.